This video is brought to you by the Tomb of Gygax from Luke Gygax and Alphinius Goo of Gooey Cube. Tomb of Gygax is a campaign setting and a mega adventure homage to Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons & Dragons and the founder of our hobby, and a fantastic roster of creators including Peter Atkinson, Mike Carr, Larry Elmore, Ed Greenwood, Tim Kask, and me, Professor Dungeon Master. And if you hate me, there's a stat block, you can kill me. Look at how much stuff is in this box. Enough adventure materials for months of campaigning. Monsters, treasures, encounters, balanced stat blocks. What a great way to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Dungeons & Dragons. But late pledges are only going to be accepted for a couple of weeks, so act now. Wizards of the Coast is looking for a new principal AI engineer. How it could change the course of Dungeons & Dragons. Today on Dungeon Craft.
Deathbringer here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and sign up for the Deathbringer RPG newsletter below.
Welcome to Dungeon Craft. I'm Professor DM, and this channel is about homebrew D&D and other tabletop role-playing games. And if that's what you're into, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and hit all to get all our videos as soon as they're released. So Wizards of the Coast is currently looking for a new AI engineer. Let's take a look at the posting. The work you'll do. Work closely with internal and external teams to define and drive the strategic roadmap for AI integrations in our tools, pipelines, and game products. Be an advocate with vision in AI, working closely with our other teams. Explore new uses for AI for all levels of game development. Design, build, and deploy system for intelligent generation of text dialogue, audio, art assets, NPC behaviors, and real-time bot frameworks. What you'll bring: 7 or more years experience in engineering lead capacity, proven experience with AI systems in the following areas: simulation, asset creation, and generative content. Knowledge of major advancements in AI, including LMMS, whatever that is, 2D and 3D content creation and audio generation, and understanding the ethical ramifications of using AI in our work. We are building a central technology team to create high-value software and processes in direct support of our development teams. We are led by the belief that providing industry-leading tools, innovative technologies, and excellent support allows our teams to focus on delivering outstanding player experiences first and foremost. We're looking for someone who believes that crafting high-value shared technology to accelerate creation and testing of content with ML systems engineering is key to delivering high-quality player experiences. To begin building an outstanding team, we are looking for a versatile and dedicated lead software engineer. In this role, you will be the most senior engineer with the team and a partner with the technical director to ensure all of the products at Wizards of the Coast are supported by our engineering effort. You will lead this new team to explore the uses of AI in game development, asset creation, and automated frameworks. To be fair, Wizards released this statement. I'm reading from comicbook.com. Wizards of the Coast responds after making AI-related job posting. Our stance on AI hasn't changed. Wizards of the Coast says a recent AI-related job posting is for video games and not for Dungeons & Dragons or Magic the Gathering. This is by Christian Hoffer. Wizards of the Coast has responded after tabletop enthusiasts discovered a job posting related to generative AI on their webpage. However, while many were quick to assume Wizards of the Coast was exploring AI development in their core tabletop games, Wizards told Comic Book that the job description was related to future video game projects. Our stance on AI hasn't changed, Wizards of the Coast told Comic Book. This job description is for a role for future video game projects. You could reference our AI frequently asked questions here. Both the Dungeons & Dragons and Magic the Gathering teams have made clear that art made with generative AI projects are not to be used by freelance illustrators and writers working on products for their company. So there you have it. Wizards of the Coast says they're not using AI-generated content for Dungeons & Dragons. Nevertheless, this response has been met with skepticism. I wonder why. So what does this all mean for you and your table? Before we get into that, I'm going to tell you how you can support the channel. The best way is on Patreon, where you can get access to my notebook, access to an exclusive Discord server, tons of extra video content. As always, thanks to the patrons who make this content possible. So my analysis. AI is becoming a thing in games. Wizards had an earlier scandal this year with an artist submitting work that was at least partially AI generated. This was a big scandal last summer, and though I always take Wizards of the Coast to task when I think they did something wrong, this is a case where this is a giant corporation, and I just don't believe they knew that AI art was being submitted. There's a clear sentiment in the community that they want real art from real artists, and Wizards of the Coast is very good about employing artists, paying them top dollar to get some of the best art out there. I'm treading carefully here because I know some artists get really upset. They don't want to use anything that is AI. But I've talked to other artists, and what they tell me is that AI can be a useful digital tool. It can be used to enhance backgrounds or blur backgrounds. It's a tool like any other art tool, and it can be used by artists to enhance their work. The fact is, AI is being used in more and more fields, and Dungeons & Dragons is no exception. Their comments about NPCs make me think they want to use AI to generate comments for their virtual tabletop, or I've always thought that they want to break with Larian Studios and do their own future Dungeons & Dragons games in-house. And that would make perfect sense if that's what they want to do. Wizards may even envision an AI game master, to which I say, good luck with that. They may want to do that, but I just don't think it's going to work. You just can't feed a large language model like videos of YouTube dungeon masters and create Brennan Lee Mulligan or Matt Mercer. It's just not going to happen. Part of the thing that makes a game master cool is their personality. And I played with a lot of great game masters who have very different personalities and would have handled situations very differently from one another. And that individuality is what makes them great. If you watch a pro game master like Brennan Lee Mulligan, and I think Dimension 20, I think they're playing Madison Square Garden, the passion and the enthusiasm and the humor that comes out, it just can't be replicated by a computer. And if you think you can, ask your ChatGPT to create an original joke. Can it do that? Would you find it funny? I've never been able to see an AI do that. Humor is unique to humans. A computer cannot understand it. Historical note for my millennial and Gen Z viewers, a joke is a narrative construct meant to provoke spontaneous laughter. It was very popular in the 20th century, died out around 2017. But I've yet to see an AI be able to generate one that I found even the least bit humorous. I'll tell you where AI can be helpful if you want to generate plot ideas for your D&D game. It can be immensely useful. I've spoken to my patrons and members of my Facebook group about it, and lots of game masters use AI to create an outline for their adventure. I was on a charity live stream this past Christmas with Baron Durop of Dungeon Masterpiece, and it was like a 24-hour, or was it 12-hour? I can't remember. It was a big, long marathon to try to design a 3,000-room dungeon in just 12 hours. And I was on there, Kelsey Dion from Shadow Dark was there, Val from Cork Boards and Curiosities, Hannah, the Feywild Fiend, and we all took turns feeding the algorithm prompts to try to create this dungeon. And by creating a broad prompt, like this is a damp dungeon that's partially submerged underwater and it's filled with spiders, it will create rooms for you and they can be interesting, but I found that you still needed to proofread them for cohesiveness. Like, the rooms were just too different from one another. They didn't fit really into a narrative pattern. And I walked away from the experience thinking this could definitely be a tool that a game master can use to enhance their dungeon design, but it really can't design the dungeon for you. Right now, some people are in full-blown panic thinking that AI is going to replace musicians and writers and artists, and they will try to do that, but I'm not sure that it can be done. At the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, there were people that sabotaged machines. They thought industrialization would be the end of their world. And it was the end of the agrarian age, but it led to new jobs. People still needed to maintain those machines, and people will still be needed to curate and maintain AI. As with any new technology, suspicion is warranted, but we weren't destroyed by Skynet back in the 80s and 90s, and I don't think we're going to be destroyed by AI. So I think an AI Dungeon Master is an interesting idea to explore, but I don't think it's going to work. It might work at the same level as a pick-a-path adventure book, where you got these very basic kind of stock answers that most people would probably do, But a Dungeons & Dragons group, a live group, will always do something weird that just can't be predicted. And a role-playing game is not just made by the game master, it's that unique synergy of every different group and all the different members of that group and bringing their enthusiasm and their talents that make the game come to life. At least that's what I think. What do you think? Share in the comments below. Also below you'll find links to my game Deathbringer on Drive-Thru-RPG. I'll see you next time. May all your rolls be 20s.
Deathbringer again. I'm no Picasso, but I know great art when I see it. For more great art, click on the Lost City and watch more Dungeon Craft.